and I'd walk to the front. Otherwise, I could be, like, putzing in the back with, like, where we clean the combs, whatever. That's irrelevant to the story. But anyway, so I was back there chit-chatting with some of the stylists, and all of a sudden she comes, this new stylist, let's name her Anna. I don't know what her name is. I don't even remember. So Anna comes whipping back, and she just starts talking mad shit about my mom. Like, just, and my sweet mother, and everyone adored my mom, so no one would ever have said anything about her. And she starts tearing her like a new asshole. She's like, she's such a bitch. She's telling me all this, what to do, and this and that. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, yep, that's my mom in my head. But at this point, like, I was probably 14 or 15, right?
I'm in the front of the salon.
Yeah, you're in the front of the salon. And then all these other stylists who have worked there for years upon years, and she's the new girl, is the one that she chose to rant to these girls. And they're obviously all looking at me, and I'm looking at them.
Like, this new girl doesn't know the owner's daughter is standing right here.
And I'm like, interesting. So then I didn't really know what to do, and I think there was...
Can I
jump
in? I think she was doing an updo. And being a new, we had a technique or, easy solutions because you had to be fast with kids. And I think I was helping her or creating suggestions for how to get this look. Mm-hmm. And apparently she did not like that I was trying to assist her.
Yeah, apparently that was a no-go. But anyway, so then I remember I got called by a client, not called by a client, or so I had to check someone out, I had to go to the front. So I got out of the scenario, but I was like, that's really, like, odd. And then I was like, I didn't really know what to do, but I figured it wasn't over because, she was just talking shit and everyone heard it. So all of a sudden I hear whispers, like the stylists are talking to you. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of my shift, I get put in my mom goes, come here, Maddie. And she puts me in a chair. And I'm like, okay, I'm not scheduled for a haircut.
Did I put a cape on you?
Yes, you did. And I'm like, this is interesting. So now I'm sitting in the chair and she goes, as she wraps the cape around my neck, I remember this. So what did Anna say about me? And I'm literally like, oh, yikes.
Ah, yes. The salon drama.
Yes. And I don't think that was her last day.
It was her last day, I'm sure it was. Yeah. If she can't take a learning session as a new girl on how things are done,
it's hard to cut kids' hair and do updos. And, I mean, these kids were squirmy. Like, you do just learn tips and tricks.
10 to 15 minutes max if you're not fast. And, So
that was
interesting.
Yeah.
I had another, a girl I hired, and again, this is a children's salon. They sit in fun cars. They watch Disney movies. And during the interview, she was very articulate, nice, friendly. Her work was good. And I noticed on her wrist, she had a tattoo of shears that were open, maybe an inch. So they weren't all wide open, they weren't closed. But the shears were probably a 3 to 4 inch long tattoo. Now, working on children, and the prong of one of the tips of the shears was poking the skin, and so there's tattooed blood drops coming out. And I was like,
interesting.
Well, I'd love to offer you the position, but, that tattoo is not going to go well.
Right, with the soccer mom.
The last thing they want to see is blood drawn. Is a bad, and she said, I can put a cuff, I'll get a wide bracelet and cuff it and hide the, we agreed to that, and she had started shampooing and left that cuff off. And, I think I reminded her a couple of times that was, you just can't do that. And she was furious and quit and went all over the place, bad talking. Like years later, as a matter of fact, when I closed the business, she came out of nowhere and started typing all kinds of horrible things about what a horrible boss I was. I was like, all I did was ask you to cover
a tattoo,
which getting stabbed with a scissors, and kids and parents don't want to see that.
And there was a lot of girls who had tattoos that you didn't like.
It was just
that
symbolism. No child, no parent is going to want to see that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the next topic that this is going to be a long topic, but I'm dying to talk about this. So your take, I've talked to you about my dating experiences, and my friends have, like, when they come over here, they're always chatting to you about their dating experiences, or I'll tell you or whatever. So I guess I want your, 2 cents about dating at your age and what it was like when you were early 20s, versus how it is now. And, like, your thoughts on that.
So, at my age when I was dating, because I'm not dating now.
Well, yeah, of course. Not at your age, meaning when we were the same age. Okay. Oh, you're not going on secret dates? You're not cheating on Dad?
So dating in, this would have been late 80s, early 90s. They were planned. I mean, dating was, you went somewhere and a guy physically walked up to you and said, "Hi, how you doing?" Introduced himself. Mm-hmm. You talked, "Can I get your number? Do you want to go out sometime?" And then he called and, planned something. For me, and if you interview Dad was a big dater. He was more single dated a lot than I did. I don't like confrontation. I don't like to reject anybody. That dating was difficult for me. As you can tell, I'm even stuttering talking about it right now. No.
You're flustered, I see.
But, so I had long-term boyfriends. And looking back as an adult now, I look back and I think it was just a strategy to not have to reject somebody. I didn't like to hurt somebody's feelings. So I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm dating somebody." It was just, and then I'd wait until I found somebody I really did like. And then it was kind of,
interesting.
I pursued it. So dating was definitely, sometimes you were at a bar and the bartender walked up and said, "Oh, excuse me, those guys across the bar bought you drinks." And then they usually, if you smiled and said thanks, that was their indication. They came over and, chatted you up. And was that what you were looking for?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like, for me, I guess I just feel like whenever I tell you stuff, you're like, "What? They want to do that?" Like, we live in such a society where they want you to come over and, like, I guess, like, hang out. Like, I hate the word hang out. I've talked about that so many times. Like, you hang out with friends,
At houses, you're saying, not hang out at a bar.
Like, no, yeah, exactly. Hang out, like, in their room. Oh. Not even like, "Oh, my roommates are watching the game," or something like that. Like, "Do you want to come over? Yeah. We're going to have some snacks," whatever. It's like, yeah, like, let's watch a movie and hang out. I'm like, I don't know who you expect to do that. And, like, I'm not trying to sound, like, higher than thou, but, like, when you talk about, I mean, the one where you talked about this, it was one of your friends' older brothers. Oh. And that story, I think, tell that one, because that would, if that happened to any of my friends, I'd be like, marry him. Because that's, like, the level of chivalry that we just don't get these days.
So he was quite a few years older, but he was super cute. And he asked me out on a date, and I was kind of nervous because he was probably 6 years older than I was. But he was such a hunk and everybody liked him. It was like, "Oh my gosh, you have to go out with him." And he picked me up and we went downtown to the lakefront, and he ended up pulling out a grill and a blanket and a bottle of wine. And already, I mean, I was so much younger. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like a big girl date. I'm not ready for all this. The pressure now. I have to act like a lady. I'm not going to use the back of my chair. I got to sit up tall." And
that's exactly how I'd feel. But.
Yeah, and I did. And so and he made, gosh, I think he put steak on the grill, or fish and rice and a vegetable. We had dessert, like chocolates of some kind, chocolate-covered strawberries or something. It was very romantic, but it was our first date. I was like, wow, this is a lot of pressure.
Yeah, holy shit.
But it was a memorable date. Mm-hmm. Like one time, your dad, I mean, I had a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun dates we just went to shoot darts at a bar. We didn't go hang out at people's houses. You didn't hang out at somebody's house unless you were, like, dating. I mean, that was for, like, close to your married, kind of, you were so committed to each other, like a married couple, you would go hang out, watch TV. You didn't do that dating. You had to plan something. Let's go down to the lakefront. Let's go for a hike. Let's rent these, canoes and go down the river. It was always an activity, apple picking,
Right.
It was, and you were formally invited. It was a phone call. You made a time and a place. I'll pick you up.
Right.
There's no hanging out. If it was hanging out, it was like you hung out with your friends, and then if you liked each other in the group, but there was always that risk that you'd end up being the friend category.
Which I feel like is so lost. Like, when you talk about, oh, yeah, like, they came up and talked to us in a bar, or, like, bought us a drink. I'm like, yeah, that's happened to me sometimes, but, like, on the whole, like, that's is kind of unheard of. It's like, oh, he wants to take you on a date? And you're like, oh, really? Like, and maybe it's just, like, a college thing, and in, like, a year or two it won't be so taboo, but, like, I just feel like people don't...
Guys always approached you. I mean, it was always a flirt thing across the bar, at a brewer game, at outdoor, Summerfest, State Fair. It was always, hey, can I get you a drink? Or, I've got written your name on a napkin at a bar or at a festival. You'd hang out, listen to some music together. That's how you got to know each other and then get invited on a date.
Yeah. And, like, nowadays, I feel like it's, like, all right, like, what are you doing after this? Like, just, like, about sex, not, like, really...
Oh, yeah, it was all about the chase in the 80s and 90s. It was about the chase, and that was the fun part. It was flirting. It was, like, teasing, flirting. It was a fun time.
Wow. And once again, I wish I lived in the 80s.
It was great. It really was.
I sound like such an old woman, but I would kill to live in the 80s.
It's fun to be wooed. So, and girls can do it too if guys aren't doing it.
Yeah, I feel like my friend
the trend. It's very fun.
Girls, like, pursue a little bit more than average girls, but I just don't have the time to sit and wait for you to come talk to me. Like, if I think you're interesting, I'll go talk to you.
Buy them a drink.
Whoa, no, I don't have all these funds to just go buying people drinks here, Mom. But, so I guess my question is, like, what do you think, like, a good age is, like, in your early 20s? Good age. What is, like, a good date at this age? Like, an ideal date?
Ooh, well, this time of the year is awesome, right? There's pumpkin, apple orchards, that kind of stuff. I love a hike. There's so many places to hike now.
And you don't have to spend money. I think it's like...
Right.
If you're...
A couple of lawn chairs, bring your baseball gloves and a ball, play some tunes, bring a cooler with some snacks. A hike to me is a really good, inexpensive... You can rent a canoe.
Yeah. I like a good, like, apple orchard, pumpkin patch, because there's, like, a lot of stuff to do there. I think, like, dinner kind of, I want to, like, know you a little bit more before I get dinner, because what if it's, like, shit and we don't like each other?
Don't do dinner,
Like, I would love to, like, meet at a bar and kind of talk a little bit at the bar and then, like, do something else. And then, like, the third encounter, I feel like, is dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. Dinner is not,
Dinner's
too
like,
much pressure.
Let me tell you about my life.
It's got to be something fun to start with.
It's intense.
Something like whimsical. It would be like State Fair. I know.
Well,
something
R.I.P.
or smaller. Yeah. Something smaller like that where it's fun. A beer garden.
Music. Summerfest is a little wild. I probably wouldn't want to go on a first date to Summerfest.
No, that's too crowded too.
Yeah.
It's gotta
you
be
never
talk
to each other.
But
I get what you're saying. Like, maybe, like, Festa Italiana or something like that.
Church festival. Yeah. A beer garden, that's got music. Really find something that's got live music. That, to me, is a really easy, fun
Because then you can talk about that. The music is playing, so you don't have to be, like, in constant conversation. Like, but you can always still talk, and, like, there's going to be people to people watch and music to talk about, the band to listen to, so...
Yep.
A lot of talking.
Find free stuff in your town. There's got to be cool stuff.
Oh, yeah. There has to be. And I also think that each town has, like, gems. Like, I know in La Crosse, like, Grandad, there's, like, beautiful views. There's Rim of the City. Like, there's just walking the river, I think, is pretty. Okay, next question. What do you think my type is?
Ooh, I would say you want somebody that's equal to you as far as wit, comedy, riffing, bold, but a masculine version. Like, you can't be a wishy-washy, like, well, I don't know, whatever you want to do, I think it'd be fun.
Oh, that would drive me absolutely nuts.
Somebody with a purpose, like, no, we're doing this, come on, and that might pump you up or challenge you, because you do that really well, but I think it would be too boring if you were always the one,
think I'd get tired of, like, always being like, oh, come on, let's do this. You know, like, I'd want
Push
someone